The wheels of justice indeed do turn slowly, except on Tuesdays. That's when Dana Nessel's deputy saw me standing in the halls of the Macomb County Courthouse, wielding the microphone of truth, and he scurried down the back stairs quicker than a rat up a drain pipe. I was there for yet another pretrial hearing for Sean Wilmoth, a.k.a. One Finger Freddy, the corpulent, T-shirt-wearing ex-con who stands accused of defrauding 5 GOP candidates for governor. Freddie turned in thousands upon thousands of bogus signatures on the candidate's behalf and then pocketed 700 G's. I cannot accurately report what happened in court because the parties secretly met in the judge's chambers and then left down the back entrance. I'm told Freddie's trial has been pushed to next year. That's Nessel's last in office. Freddie is important here because it appears he probably swindled Alana McGuire as well. And Alana McGuire is important here because she is Dana Nessel's wife. McGuire was co-chair of a thing called Fair and Equal Michigan, an organization that was pushing to get gay rights legislation on the ballot. It never made the ballot because tens of thousands of signatures were ruled to be bogus by the Secretary of State. That was Freddie too, and Freddie was never charged in that case. So one wonders why, until you realize that Fair and Equal Michigan is a named suspect in a criminal referral from the Secretary of State alleged to have committed campaign finance fraud, a felony, and $1 million in fines. So that referral molders on Nessel's desk, and the newspapers refused to report it. Meanwhile, the stenographers at the Detroit News sit in a different courthouse cranking out political trivialities about a parallel case involving Republicans. That case also involves the use of a nonprofit to launder political money. Unlike Michigan, the Republicans, was a failed ballot proposal seeking to abolish the emergency powers seized by Whitmer during COVID. One of the recent headlines in the Detroit News from that case squeaked, "No one will know. Records reveal secret money flowing through Lansing." Secret money flowing through Lansing. No kidding. Give that guy his fucking Pulitzer. Yet, not a word on Nessel or her wife or Freddie. Not a word, because friends don't do that kind of thing to each other. It's a journalistic crime. The reporters ought to be charged with manslaughter for boring their readers to death. If ever there was a need for a special prosecutor, Nessel is Exhibit A. It's been 27 months. That's 2 years and a quarter so far since Nessel received the criminal referral from Jocelyn Benson involving her wife. Not a peep. That's why they were hiding in the judge's chambers this week. There's nothing to see if you're not allowed to see it. But there is a bright spot in all of this for those of you who are fans of equal application of the law. The State House Oversight Committee is now in possession of the documents concerning Nessel's wife and political family members. Hearings are likely, I'm told. Oh, we'll be there too. That's why I was in the Macomb Courthouse holding the sword of justice, the microphone of truth. I wanted to ask Nessel's left-hand man if the boss would answer if the committee subpoena should be issued. I also wanted to ask her left-hand man if he would issue a warrant for Nessel's arrest if she refused to appear. I wanted to ask him, but alas, he ran away. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Justice is supposed to be blind. Get ready, Mark. But under Attorney General Dana Nessel, it's just plain stupid.
Dum da dum dum. Dum da dum dum dum. Dum da dum dum. Dum da dum dum. Dana.
Live from downtown Detroit, it's the No Bullshit News Hour with my main man, Charlie LeDuff and Karen Dumas.
'What's just it breaking news? Double or bullshit? Double or bullshit?
Word from our sponsors. The board's still fucked up. Well, you know, when it rains, the power goes out. And when the power goes out, the internet goes out. When the internet goes out, I call my friend Matt and Bernie at XG Service Group. Look at Bernie here on his hands and knees, giving it everything he's got. Look at that man crack. So busy, he forgot to wear a belt. There's Matt right there getting the board together. That's 734-245-4100 if you need Matt and Bernie to come take care of your voice over internet, your security cameras, off-campus access control, Wi-Fi, and cameras for homes and business. They'll design it for you. You got restaurants, they do drive-through systems, railroad cameras for public safety, total wireless camera systems for your home and business. Yeah, that's right. Call XG Services at 734-245-4100.
I'm Grace Karos, and I'm third generation of American Coney Island. People say Detroit's a comeback city. I say, where you been? We've been here for over 100 years. My family's been here on the same corner, serving our famous proprietary American Coney Island hot dog. So like always, we're keeping things fresh, updated, and new. We'd love to have you come downtown and visit us, but if you can't, you can always go to AmericanConeyIsland.com, order a Coney kit, get it delivered fresh right to your door.
There it is. What's up, Adolph?
Hey, thanks for the invitation.
Adolph Mongo, the political hitman, the Tommy Hearns of Detroit politics, Michigan politics, Midwest politics. You actually worked in D.C.?
Yeah.
You are the hitman. What do you think of this dumbass, this Attorney General of ours?
I had a nice day until you show the clips of who runs the state of Michigan. Man.
Into the ground, dude.
Larry, Moe, Curly, and whoever else.
You wanna see my day in court? I made a little video.
Go ahead.
Hey, let's watch my day in court. That's crazy. That's amazing. I've never seen that. Chicken shit. Well, last week we told you about the oldest trick in the journalism book. Charged us $3,147.80 to find out what happened in the nursing home.
Here's a dime, go call someone who cares.
This week we bring you the second oldest trick in the journalism book. You go in the judge's chambers, you set some dates for further on down the line, and everybody sneaks out the back. Well, the question remains, why is everybody getting charged in this state with campaign finance fraud, except Nessel's wife and friends? And I wanted to ask the prosecutor, who'll be here waiting for him, was he aware that the House Oversight Investigative Committee has the criminal referral from the Secretary of State to Ms. Nessel concerning her wife and political friends? And if Nessel is issued a subpoena, will she answer it? And if she does not answer the subpoena, will her assistant issue a warrant for the boss's arrest?
I'm waiting for the man.
Hope this ain't bad news. Get out of here.
Well, if you were politically connected, you wouldn't have to worry about it.
You got that right.
I got that right. They're afraid of this. The sword of truth. Judge on the bench? No. Nope. Double dealing. Back in chambers. Covering for the politically connected. It's not just some fat slob in a t-shirt anymore.
There's my signature.
It goes deep. Way deep. You're afraid of this. The disinfectant of fresh air. What'd you do?
I'm not going to say that.
Wrong answer. You say I didn't do anything. The Attorney General is charging everybody with election fraud, except her wife and political friends. They're afraid of this. The public eye. So they all met. They met in the back room and then snuck out the stairs. How do you do?
How'd he do? He won $1 million.
Man. Let's go get on your boat.
Huh?
Is it common that you would have a court date, some pretrial hearings, and those would be done outside of the purview of the public?
If it's something that needs to go public, it'll go out on the record in front of the judge and it'll be put on the public record.
And it wasn't put on the public record in this case.
They're afraid of this, the tickler of the public conscience.
Weasels.
Selective prosecution, you know that, Charlie. They do what they do, you know. Remember, listen, the late John Conyers, I looked at his signatures one year. They was all bogus.
Auto pen?
Oh, whatever it was. So he was supposed to get kicked off the ballot. Boom. He got kicked off the ballot, take it to court. The judge said, I don't care if they bogus or not, put him right back on. Now, anybody else, you know, it depends on who you get as a judge and who decide to prosecute you.
That's when I first met you.
Yeah, you know.
That was in Horace Sheffield's office.
Well, I was looking at signatures. I was like, man, those, you know, I was trying to retire him, give him a good way out. Not the way he went out, but a good way to just step away because, you know, he had some issues and nobody wanted to talk about the issues that he had. The same way with Joe Biden. He had the same issues.
Yeah.
And every time I saw him, I had to give him my card.
So he forgot you?
Yeah, and you know, but yes. So, yeah, they prosecute who they want to prosecute, and then they throw out what they want to throw out. I'm not surprised of all this shit.
Yeah, but dude, we're now in an era like the House went.
It's all the same.
Yeah, but you know, like she's gonna get her hearing because you know you're gonna charge your political enemies.
Right, well, they're gonna fix it.
Fix. Yeah, you know what's funny? The guy that faked the signatures, allegedly.
Yeah.
This case, we were told by one of the attorneys for the defendants in that it's going to be next year, the trial. That would be 4 years, and that's Nessel's last year in office. That way, you avoid the whole shit with her wife.
Well, do you really think that Doug will run a write-in?
Fuck no.
Okay, then. I rest my case.
Dude,
here's the same shit. You know, why they said 80% of the people in Detroit can't read or write, but they managed to write in Duggan. Yeah, that's an oxymoron.
That whole write-in was fake because I went to it where they're looking at all the signatures. I didn't get one vote. And I know people voted for me, and fucking Ronald McDonald got a vote, and I didn't get a vote. Something's not right. But
listen, McNamara ran for re-election.
For those who don't know, Adolph's going way back.
Yeah,
Ed McNamara, the one county executive, who Duggan was his number 2,
right? And
the feds were all up in their ass, and they were going to hit everybody, but he died.
He got challenged by the late Clyde Cleveland. Cleveland had no money, the city councilman. He was beating McNamara's ass. McNamara went to bed that night saying, I lost. Congratulations, councilman. He woke up the next morning, voila, the clerk in the city of Detroit threw out thousands of ballots saying, oh, there was something wrong with them.
Okay.
So we can go all the way back and see the game hasn't changed, Charlie. I don't know why you're surprised that they would have secret deals and all kind of other bullshit.
You know, I was told by a guy that does printing, and again, I'm just going to say it because it came to mind. Detroit wanted 2 sets of ballots printed in a recent election. I don't know why you would have 2 sets of ballots printed. You got any idea why that would be?
Because, you know, they was waiting on a court ruling to say somebody's off the ballot.
The same ballot?
Yes.
No, the same
ballot.
Same names.
I
print them twice.
Well, somebody getting paid. Well,
I'm looking. That's from the horse's mouth. So I will look into that.
Listen, your former colleagues in the media. I left the media a long time ago. We don't have any. We got I don't know where they find these people from. You know, they wait for a press release or whatever the fuck they writing about. They wouldn't know a real story if it smacked them in the face.
Like I just did in the opening there. They got a couple of old ladies that they rung up on the Republican side for this ballot bullshit, right? Taking dark money, laundering it, and putting it into a campaign. We got assholes sitting in the courtroom writing about, ooh, there's dark money going around Lansing. But nobody touched the more important story, which is Nessel, the conflict of interest, her wife, a prominent Democratic pollster, the whole fucking thing, her pals.
Listen, I had a couple of TV stations call me and say, "Are you working for any other candidates, the mayor's candidates, Santil Jenkins?" Because I wrote an op-ed piece putting a poker up Mary Sheffield's ass. I said, "Why do I have to be working for somebody? I've been in this business forever,
prominent
you
voice.
know, and I can't criticize a candidate unless I'm working for somebody." Shut the fuck up. You know what?
Right.
That's lazy journalism.
Who are you working for? Like, what the fuck?
It don't matter.
How about just, it's like, what the fuck you had to say,
Right.
right? Doesn't matter who I'm working for.
Is it true? No one ever said, "Oh, what he wrote was false." It's
Well,
a
tell
lie.
the truth about these fuckers, how it really works, which is if you were working for someone,
Yep.
you do all the work. You do all the scut work, like digging up shit in their voting record, and you give it to the media, and then they fucking print it and never say they got it from you.
Right.
That's exactly how it works.
Right. It's like when
That's why they're dying.
It's like when Kwame packed up his shit and left. Nobody knew about it but me. Listen, I called you because you was the only person in the media that believed me. You know.
Yeah, it's brand new in town.
Did your editors believe you at first?
We got in a big fucking fight. Because I was new, you know what I mean? And they didn't like you. You know what I mean? Oh, he's a racist. Like, let me just get this clear here. Kwame Kilpatrick was going to lose the election. He was the incumbent, so a second term he was going to lose. Everybody goes to bed. But Rosa Parks died, and Adolph bought the whole back of the Michigan Chronicle, the African-American paper. And it had a lynching, right, from 1919. And it says it's a modern-day lynching for Kwame Kilpatrick. And it had all the media going at, right? Like, I won't even name them. And wake up the next day and Kwame wins. Who knows? Maybe it was the dual set of ballots again. I don't know what Adolph's tricks are, but they hated you after that. Just fucking hated you, right? So to me, I come in town and I'm sitting in Mary Sheffield's dad's office because I'm like, Kwame wouldn't talk to me. And I said to Kwame's people, well, who speaks for the mayor? And he said, Horace Sheffield. So I'm sitting in Horace Sheffield's office waiting to talk to him. And you walk in wearing a long leather. Your brother, who's way taller than you, walks in wearing a long leather, bald, leather. I'm like, fucking Black Panthers. The Black Panthers I had no idea who the fuck he was. And I was sitting there, what'd you think of me?
Drug addict. He looked like he was ODing, smoking a cigarette. I'm like, okay, need a fix.
So from there, it's like, who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? And this guy, I don't know why, it's in my book, this one here. There's a chapter called Mongo, him, because I don't know why you ever did it, dude, but you took me by the hand and you showed me how the town worked and who was connected to what and what the history was, because I've been away so long. So I'm always going to owe you that, for real, you know? Like, so when you call me, I've only been at Detroit News a couple months, and you call me and go, dude, he's packing his bags. His office is fucked up. There's not a book in his office. There's not a book in Kwame Kilpatrick's office. And I went to the editor, and I said, he's packing his bags. And then the whole newsroom, like very many people, got upset that we would trust you. And I just said to the boss, I got one source, one single source. I called City Hall, can't get an answer. We either run with it or we don't. And they did.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, the next day, like somebody said, that was a very smart move to groom Adolph Mongo. I'm like, groom Adolph? What the fuck? I'm a pedophile or some shit. I was like, the man's connected. He's called the source. You know what I mean? He trusts me.
You know, listen.
That's why they're dying.
Well, bottom line is, remember my old former client, Matty Maroon, wouldn't talk to the press. You couldn't pay him $1 billion.
Who owned the Ambassador Bridge. Yeah.
So I convinced Matty. I said, I got a person in the media that you can trust. Who? I said, Charlie LeDuff. He was like, brought him in. The rest is history.
But not his butt boy.
No.
No, I'm not his butt boy. Like, you could trust me to be honest.
Right. Was he a straight, honest dude?
He was a straight shooter, and I was rough on him in the one interview he's ever given.
Yeah.
You know, slumlord and all that stuff. And but that guy, once he got used to, because, you know, he's fucking old school Jimmy Hoffa trucking guy type shit. You read into that what you want, but he's a magnet. He's, you know what I mean? He's not a bridge owner. He's got tens of thousands of trucks, worldwide, boats, bridges. He's a magnet. He's a shipping magnet. And he showed me when on this program, when I talk about world trade, Mexico, rail lines going through Canada, he showed it to me. He put it on a whiteboard and showed me how the world conquest was going to happen. And it played out to be true.
Yeah. And you had those folks in the media, they wanted to kill you, man, because you scored the big hit and they didn't. So fuck these so-called journalists in this town, because there aren't any. There aren't any.
There's a few. I always like to do that because there's like Rob Snell, who covers the federal court. There's George Hunter, who covers the police. There's when people want to get off their ass, they can do it. There's Violet. You know, she works.
Oh, Violet, I like Violet.
Yeah,
Violet is a hard working.
Yeah, so when I go fuck y'all, I don't mean y'all.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about.
But not enough to save the newspapers. I mean, the fucking Detroit News going down.
And there used to be a black newspaper, but I don't know what it is now. It's a piece of shit.
Duggan purchased it.
Yeah, well,
they'll just take some of that ARPA money, you know.
Yes. Oh, I forgot. This is
in trouble.
This is live. But anyway, spam call. That's Duggan calling me.
So the joint operating agreement between the Free Press and the News, that's going to dissolve now.
So you mean the rape?
Tell me.
Well, that joint operating agreement, they just took all the money, fucked the people that work there, and now it's like a horde of locusts. They ate all the crop up. So that's it. So now they move on.
Like I said, Detroit News is dead. I'm not there. Like, they should all be charged, first of all, with assault and battery on the English language. They're awful. And two, you bored your readership to death. You should be charged with manslaughter. And
that's a good one.
Now it's gone. And you guys did it. You fucking did it. You sold out. You don't care about us. And you're getting it now. Now, the Detroit, here's what's going on. Let me tell you how I know this, because I work there. They shared building, printing press, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Detroit News got paid like $5 million a year from the Free Press. The hedge fund bought it. Last year, the Free Press was quietly put up for sale. Soft for sale sign put out there. Guy I know, prominent guy, billionaire, inquired about it. Said it wasn't worth $2 million. Because they sold the printing press, they sold the building. I don't know if the Free Press sold its archive, but the News did, right? So there's nothing to sell but a logo and a website, right? The Free Press would not take less than $60 million. It wasn't worth it. So the Free Press is the second largest entity in the constellation of Gannett. Like USA Today is one, Free Press is two, and there's like 150, 200 papers. If the Free Press, a flagship, is worth 1/30th, right? Then what does that tell you about the market capitalization of Gannett? They claim it's worth, the stock holdings, $450 million. But if it's really only worth a 30th of that, it's really worth 15 million. These 1 million a piece, not even a million a piece for each of these papers. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
so they're getting rid of the news because they run in the red every year. They run in the fucking red. They're not successful.
So why are they still here?
They're not going to be here long. Now, I would tell you this. You could say what you, Mark, I'm still pulling residuals from my time in Hollywood, right? Right here from NBC Universal. Get right in there, Mark. This one came right in the mail. Look at this royalty check. 27 cents.
Can I borrow 10 cents?
Yeah, yes, you can, man, because I'm solvent. Right there's the proof. I made more money
Then the free.
than the news made in the last decade. Sign up. Now, I wonder, is the free press, whichever one goes down, I think the news goes down first, are they going to pull these dead asses from the news into the free press? Like I said, we just gave you a couple of names. I think Rob Snell should be at the Wall Street Journal.
But they won't, because I was at a newspaper, Colorado Springs Sun, and it owned by the Oklahoma Publishing Company out of Oklahoma City.
By the way, pause right there. What's the name of your podcast so people know?
Detroit in Black and White.
Detroit in Black and White with Alan Langle, like another titan of the industry, but go ahead.
They sold the paper to the Gazette in Colorado Springs. They had 2 newspapers. You know what the Gazette did?
What?
They shut it down. Did they take any of the reporters? Hell no, man. Hey, listen, that's what they're going to do here in Detroit. We saw it coming when Coleman Young gave them prime land on the riverfront to build a printing press, and they left, went to Sterling Heights. That was just a short-term Band-Aid. They were sinking then. The Titanic been slowly sinking here in Detroit. And they should have looked at what happened in Seattle. They had a joint operating agreement, and one paper ate up the other paper. They didn't play around. In Detroit, we always play around. We keep an old Tiger Stadium forever, sit abandoned, a train station that was abandoned for 100 years, a Hudson building that was abandoned for decades. Other places, Yankee Stadium, they tore down old Yankee Stadium, built a new one in 6 months?
Yeah,
or whatever.
And the city didn't pay for it.
Right. And here in Detroit, you get the friends of the slums. Oh, we can't tear that down. It has history. You know, I'm like, God damn.
Well, was more than happy to be part of the public ante to save the train station, because that's a flagship.
Yes.
That's the heart and soul. Everything else you can fuck off. You know what I mean? This thing just got raped. You know, now we're going into a mayor's race, and the mayor's moving to be the governor, right?
Yeah, well, he's leaving because him and his locusts ate up all the crops in Detroit. You go back to Wayne County, they ate up all the crops and they moved to the prosecutor's office. They ate that. Then they went to DMC, the same group of people. They ate that. He sat there at the schools. He took that $1.5 billion bond.
Wayne County, right?
Yes.
Wayne County, you're the deputy CEO.
Yes.
Feds come in.
Yes.
You go to the prosecutor's office.
They come in.
The feds come in.
Abandoned houses.
The feds
empty,
come in.
Yes. DMC.
Smart buses.
Oh, I forgot about the
Feds are looking at
Yes.
that. Comes in, it spends the Detroit school money.
Yes.
Feds are looking at
Yes.
it. DMC.
Yes.
Right? Largest Medicaid fraud at that time in history for a
the
hospital.
Wicked Witch of the West gave
Then he
him
comes to be the mayor, and you
lifeline.
got a 7-year grand jury on the dirt, and it's back. Like, oh, come on, man.
So whoever becomes mayor, they're going to have to face the music.
Yeah, because, city's broke.
Well, they don't say it's broke.
I know.
We got a good credit report. It's a 800.
No, okay, so you got that. Okay, the mayor buys the media. Either hire them or you're drinking with the publishers and news directors. But the media's not good. Sorry, guys, you're not good. You're not. You wouldn't make it anywhere. But here's data. Wallet Hub does data, right? The best of the 149 cities, was it 148 top cities in America, how well you run, right? Now we have a thing on this show. Whenever there's a list, best or worst, if it's worst, you look at the top. If it's the best, you look at the bottom. Of the worst run cities in America, out of 148, Detroit is 147th. Okay, so do you want to believe the media, or do you want to believe the people of the city that came to our mayoral debate, the real one? Did you see how they felt? They were pissed, right? Of course you watched it. You watched it.
Do I watch debates?
Yeah, the debate that we hosted, No Bullshit News Hour. Did you watch that?
That was bullshit. No.
No, you didn't.
You know what? I've seen so many fucking debates.
Never seen one like this, dude.
And listen, you know what? It's about time somebody asked the tough questions, make people squirm, don't want to be there, etc. You know, you got your point across. But unfortunately, we have these forums. It's like a traveling circus. You know, P.T. Barnum would love to be in Detroit. What they say, a sucker born every minute. Man, we have a lot of suckers who buy into this shit that Duggan is the greatest mayor that ever set foot in City Hall. He made history by winning the write-in. Oh man! And they made a big deal
Stabilized
out of it.
and growing. It's not growing.
What?
The population didn't grow.
Two people?
The revenue didn't grow. Nothing grew yet. Biden sent you $1 billion fucking and it's gone.
Yeah, where did it go?
Well, that's what the fucking people want to know. It's gone.
I know somebody pocketed about $300-400 put it in a bank account.
Really?
Wait,
Who?
who do you think?
I don't understand.
It's at the new Mrs. Duggan. Got that grant, man.
Oh,
know?
yeah. The new Mrs. Duggan, that's right. She did get a grant for infant mortality and premature babies, and like, what a spectacular program. But the data don't lie. All you got to do is go to the state and get the child mortality and premature birth rates. It got worse in Detroit. It was a fucking lie. And then they tried to delete all the communications of her getting the money. That's another one. Duggan, what did he get? He got the Society of Investigative Reporters and Editors, IRE.
Well,
Gave him the most secretive governmental agency in America.
Well, I tell you,
Fuck him,
like I tell you, it's selective reporting, selective prosecution. You remember the Navigator with Kwame? It never went away.
Oh my God!
Because they decided that's a story, and they not gonna let it go. With something like you gave this woman and find out you having some kind of affair or whatever, and it just disappeared. It disappeared.
That is interesting. I mean, Nessel's taken exquisite Caribbean vacations with the owner of a major law firm that's got business with the state, and then she's telling everybody, I paid for it. Okay, show us the bank statements. They just went away. What if Kwame did that?
Oh, it's page one.
Ain't touch. What about the fact, I just reported it, that dirt from Northland Mall got dumped into Detroit. I'm going to tell these reporters.
They're going to say it's not a
the investigation's open. Everybody's been getting called now. They're going to be subpoenas. I checked on it yesterday. Right? It's open.
Well, you know what they're going to say? It doesn't matter why.
It doesn't matter. Exactly.
That's what they're going to say.
These fucking twats, right? They're not Democrats, man. You know, you were an old school Democrat. I was an old school Democrat. These are pigs at the trough of the government who serves the elite, right?
But we always had that, Charlie. When we had a governor named James Blanchard who left his wife and married a secretary, nobody wrote about it. Now, but yet Coleman Young, unmarried, found out he had a kid. and they made it seem like
I
he
get you.
destroyed a fucking world.
I get you. I get you.
That selective.
In either case, it's
selective.
nobody's business,
Yes.
but they decided to make it somebody's business.
Yes.
And one,
Yes.
I agree with that.
You know, so I'm not surprised at they're going to dismiss it. Oh, who cares? What's the average person care about taking dirt from Northland, might be contaminated, whatever,
It is.
and dump it in a neighborhood
Where kids are.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's Detroit. They
Well,
got
in the
problems
middle
anyway.
of all this, and COVID, and you know the super progressives, which they're not, take over, and we get buzzwords like environmental racism, and I'm like, that's exactly what they're doing, and nobody gives a fuck.
No.
Why wouldn't you give a fuck?
Well, if I dump the dirt in West Bloomfield, then we got a problem.
Yeah, I'm right, and you ain't gonna.
You're not gonna get away with
You're
it.
not gonna leave that hole open like that.
No.
You're not gonna have asbestos blowing around. No.
No.
Well, that's because West Bloomfield has money and knows and has been taught how to defend itself. It's not like the black city. Let's say it's a poor city. People aren't stupid. They might be ignorant to the facts, but they've been trained not to fight back.
Well, because
You can't
people
beat City Hall
get-
because they've been
yes.
they've been laying on my head for so long.
They've been
I don't
beat,
know what to do.
They've been beat
That's
down,
right.
and so they accept certain shit. It's like
Even the business owners. That's the same thing around here.
it's like when you say, "Oh, the murder rate is down. We only had 200 murders compared to 400 last year." But what about the 200 and the families that had to bury and experience this shit? One murder is too much. But we got so used to three.
It's more
people?
diabolical though because
3 people died. Oh yes.
But as we did on this program, it's real journalism, and the Michigan Enjoyer, which is now the 5th biggest news website in the state. Thank you very much. They hid 10% of the homicides over and through Duggan's tenure. 10% of the It's not 3,000 people that were murdered or killed by another. It was 3,300. What happened to that? That's the same with every bit of data here. They fucking lie about it. These clowns in the media run with it. And then you can't understand why the people are angry. If there was a lot of media at the No Bullshit News Hour / Michigan Enjoyer Detroit mayoral discussion. Hi, Karen. It never occurred to anybody that if Detroit has come back like they want to print, right? Then why were the people so incensed? And the people there were really intelligent about politics because they knew how Mary Sheffield voted. They know how Fred Durhal voted. They know about the crime. They know about, housing for low-income people. They know all this stuff. And the media didn't pick up on it. Like there's a disconnect between what the Mackinac policy crowd wants you to think and what they think, at Grand River and 7 Mile.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the gossip? Mary Sheffield, front runner. What's the gossip?
Shit, all glitz and glamour. It's like it's like she got great producers. You can take me and put me in a studio and I sound like Sam Cooke. But I get out on the stage at Little Caesar Arena, I sound like shit. That's the bottom line. Instagram. She never met an Instagram or Facebook she didn't like. It's about, sound bites. Now, substance, where the substance at? I'm sorry.
I mean, she did say like about the board of the river front conservancy.
Miss 60, 70% of the meetings and then said, oh, well, I'm not on the oversight committee. Nobody.
Of course you are. You're on the board.
Right. You're a leader of the city council. You need to ask the tough questions. First thing you needed to say, Matt Cullen, get your ass out as chair. It happened under your watch. We need to reorganize the board, etc. But she said we didn't do anything. Well, there it is. You know, Planning and Economic Development Committee missed 90% of the meetings. Blew them off. Got a ticket in Hamtramck saying she was the own city business. Her schedule showed that she should have been at a meeting. She
was late. That's why she was speeding.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, right. But, you know, it's hanging out with folks that bribe city council members, admitted that they bribe city council members. Man,
Car thieves.
All kind of shit. You know what? So, yeah, she's the front runner. Great producers. She got a good, they spinning it. But I'm telling you, we went through that shit before. She calls herself a hip hop. You know, she got a little 313 dance.
We've been through that.
Do we want that shit again?
Well, I'll say this. Let me bring it back to just good old fashioned numbers. There, you know, all these deals we gave all these big businesses, you know, I mean, these tax abatements and shit. They're all about 50% of them are coming due in the next 4 years. 50% of all this giveaway. So, and we're broke. So she'll tell the people, we got to get more from the business. She'll tell the business, status quo, right? Detroit Medical Center, their tax abatements came due last year. And that's like $1.5 to $3 billion in revenue that they crank. They got a lot of lobbyists. And they got $17 million. They re-upped it. The state and the city gave them $17 million that they don't have to pay. And the city really needs that money.
Well,
you know what I mean? Revenues will start falling now. So what fucking comeback? Now, I wonder, this is the word, nobody's asked Mary Sheffield, how involved is your father, Horace Sheffield, going to be in the administration? I remember Horace called me up crying. No, I called him and he's like, they shut off. I'm sorry to call you back. They shut off my phone because Kwame owes me $300,000 and didn't pay it. So I got word he's out there telling people get on board or you're locked out. You hear that too?
Yeah.
So
Somebody
ask her, what about this Kinlock dude?
Well, Kinlock is a minister.
Mm-hmm.
Got 38,000 folks that follow him.
Mm-hmm.
He's a force to be reckoned with. He got Anthony Adams over there. He got Rav Godby. He got Brenda Lawrence.
I got more followers than him, man, and I don't know if that will make me mayoral material.
Well, how many people vote in the fucking city?
I don't know.
Not many.
There'll
So
probably
that's
be
it.
what, 70,000 people voting?
Even if it's that.
Maybe 50?
So you might have more people, but I'm just telling you the facts of life.
But the dude is not telling the truth about, you know, where he lived.
Well, that's
isn't that important?
Well, ask your colleagues in the media. Do they care?
I asked my colleagues in the media.
And what do they say?
When Duggan was running, I go,
Yeah.
you know, the shit we just went through his
Right.
wherever he goes, the feds go, right?
Yeah,
and I said to him, the political reporters, why didn't anybody do a tail of the tape on this guy? I got a double answer. One, we were very busy with the bankruptcy. Okay. Number two, Detroit's been down so long. We're looking for positive stories. I was like, whoa.
That's some bullshit.
Just abandon your fucking mission.
The bullshit. It's bullshit. So let's go back. It's selective reporting, selective prosecution. It depends on who you fucking dealing with. Say somebody's name and people don't like them. Boom. Say my name and you'll get. Oh, you don't want to talk to him. Yeah, I know you don't want to hear the real deal.
Yeah.
You know, listen, I'm not going to sugarcoat the shit.
No, man, like shit. Like, you're selectively prosecuting, you're selectively swinging contracts. This is our fucking job.
You know, your teeth can't heal, but the stock market can. That's just a fact. The market roller coaster is making you grind your teeth. Call or text my friend Luke Nowacki at 248-663-4748. We're all hanging on to this ride like Gayle King and Katy Perry. Just hang on to your flower. Some people are saying that the earth will be better when this is all over. Luke Nowacki, Pinnacle Wealth Strategies. Are you an aging senior wondering where you'll end up? Are you a son or a daughter wishing your mom or dad lived closer to home? Are you a caregiver with good heart and good character, but you feel stuck in a dead-end job? Are you a social entrepreneur looking for a safe real estate investment within a fast-growing market? Well, consider contacting Archangel Senior Management. Archangel offers a solution and a vision to compete with big corporate senior living communities. Call Archangel at 989-614-0316.
Now, I'm going to just switch this. The media is dead. We now, podcasters, are the media. The media. I went and did Tim Pool. Pretty big podcast, flew out there. Tim was sick, didn't tell me. So I'm sitting in this podcast and they say, wait, there's breaking news. Explosions in Tehran. And then all of a sudden, they're going on Twitter. And they're getting their news, like they're talking to hundreds of thousands of people, right? They don't know anything about Iran. And they're looking, and I'm like, I don't know if we bombed it. What are you looking at? What's the source? Who are they? You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, we're an expert, and everything links back to the mainstream media. So if you say that you are the new media, but you're not the new press. You're just saying just empty fucking shit and don't have any source. So I was on there with Ted Cruz is getting rung up right now because Tucker Carlson just took him apart. Right, Mark? Because Ted Cruz, let's bomb the shit out of Iran, but he doesn't know how many people live there. He doesn't know what the ethnic makeup is. And Tucker just took him apart. Well, I was sitting there with a former staff member of Ted Cruz's on this program, and we're talking about immigration. I haven't seen the clip, but
it starts with Trump's comments.
It's okay. So Trump talking about. Oh, let's see. Go ahead.
We can't take farmers and take all their people and send them back because they don't have maybe what they're supposed to have, maybe not. You know, you go into a farm and you look and people they've been there for 20, 25 years and they've worked great and the owner of the farm loves them and everything else, and then you're supposed to throw them out.
There's a real world here, if I might, been out in it. What he says is, all of you because it's a conservative podcast, so the guests are like, get everybody out now. Get them out now. And I'm like, there's a real world. And there's the podcast world. So here's me trying to explain the podcast world. Just came in here. This last wave, you're gone. You're not going to be amnesty. And if you came in the first wave and you're a punk and a creep and you make convictions, you're gone. What he said today makes 100% sense to me. For instance, David, ¿qué tal? Es Carlito, bro. There's a dude. I worked in the canneries, slaughterhouses, the grape orchards. There are people been here for 20 years working, can't go home, can't go to funerals. They got kids that are doctors. David is a good neighbor. He works. They're not paying enough for you to go work for $9 an hour in the California sun, picking grapes gently so you don't bruise them. David's been doing it. In 2013, there was the immigration reform bill. They came up with a concept called a blue card, not a green card, a blue card, which means you work ag. You don't get to vote. You have some access to government programs, right? You can move internationally, go to the funeral. They're upstanding people in our country. They've been here forever, built lives. We're not running them out. And if you think we're running them out, we will go broke, because working in the slaughterhouse, they're not paying anymore. They're not paying in the canneries anymore because that's all been broken. So in the short term, if you gathered everybody up, you're never going to eat. Not that Americans won't do the jobs, because they used to do the job.
Well, they used to do the jobs for like
higher livable wages.
I'll give you an
illegal
example.
Illegal immigration
Yes.
on scale is what
Yes.
has caused these jobs that you would otherwise be able to like live off of to now be like
In 1985, when the Hormel unionized workers went on strike in Minnesota, they were making $10.50 an hour, adjusted for inflation, because we all now know what inflation is. That's $32 an hour.
Yeah.
And they got benefits like a pension, right? Yeah. What do they pay in the Hormel plants today?
Dirt, probably.
Dirt? 18, 16, 15? In fact, they're replacing the illegals with the new illegals. And that's the reality of it. You know, I mean, this is big ag that broke this shit. So whatever we didn't ship out, we shipped people in. And to write it, you can't do that overnight. Again, I have flashes in my mind about what these factories are like and how your hands are.
Well, you just have to look at in a historical view of America and who built it. First, there was free labor, slaves. Then there was, South views legal slavery because they didn't pay, sharecropping as they called it. And then you go up north and you got the folks that did all the dirt, the Mexicans that came over, or the immigrants from
the Irish, the Polish.
Right. There's no question about it. And now you want to just say, okay, we're gonna shut our doors. Who's gonna do the work? There was a time when black people did certain things. Now the Mexicans did certain things. It's like each generation, some group.
Well, we'll do the work, and you have to pay,
right?
And you all, I hate to say it, but you cannot let people live on a skinny check their whole lives.
No,
you know what I mean. Like disability when you're not disabled. Medicaid when you can work. You know what I mean. Under Biden,
and we pay farmers not to grow shit.
Yeah.
We give General Motors and all these other corporations billions in bailout.
Okay.
But we don't want to give Tamika and her family a bridge card for $200.
Well, Tamika should, but if Tamika's got a boyfriend, a husband, whatever.
General Motors got a whole bank account.
Wait.
For the money.
Dude's got to work.
Yeah.
And GM's got to get off the public tip.
Yeah.
Right?
So, like I go back to the original story.
GM's corrupt as hell.
Right. Selective reporting and selective prosecution. You select. Listen, Chrysler.
That's the more blowhard bullshit from the Detroit.
Chrysler should have been out of business.
Yeah, where's the fucking jobs on the east side?
Everybody pimps Chrysler,
right?
Mercedes.
Don't forget
Daimler,
the Jefferson Assembly over there.
Yes.
Almost $500 million.
Yes.
Where's the jobs? Where's the 10,000 jobs you promised? They're not there.
They killed Pole Town, 3,000 families. Businesses, hospitals, schools, and they said this is gonna be the new tech town. Well, we got one fucking plant over there and one shift. Yeah, they moved everything out.
And then again, you get these fucking lapdogs at these newspapers. Here's one for you. Donald Trump, the EV mandate will fool the future. He doesn't even know what he's talking about, because when he went to Lansing to give a rally, he drove right by the Delta plant, and that's a big mega jobs creator. And then everybody buys it, and then there's no follow-up, because all of a sudden it's shut down, nothing's getting built, and GM's keeping its money and selling what's left over to the Koreans. And the fucker that wrote that never did the follow-up, that he was wrong.
Well, it used to be a time when you say Washington Post, oh, yeah, they're going to get to the heart of the matter and shit. Now you got Bozo the Clown that, if you write something, Charlie wrote that, get rid of the motherfucker. Get out of here. So the newspaper publishers, they all used to be independent. And whether it's good or bad.
I don't know. The Washington Post has always been the fucking trumpet.
Well,
for the intelligence community.
But that's right.
Bob Woodward.
But they not that anymore for nobody.
No.
But Amazon. They no question. They sold out. The Wall Street Journal used to be the bastion of conservatism. It's a piece of shit. I'm just looking at these newspapers around there. It had its own niche. And, you can tell.
And you know, the super wealthy always owned the media, by the way.
Yes.
Like, the Graham family and the Sulzbergers.
Knight.
Hearst. Pulitzer.
John Knight.
Right? So
Yeah.
what's the difference now?
What's the difference?
Is they lose money.
I'll tell you what's the difference. A cop told me, he said, it used to be, how you catch the people selling drugs and all that. They was organized. He said, we knew who was doing what when they had the young boys and all these other folks.
Yeah.
Now, you don't know who the fuck is like scattered all over.
I used to live in Bloomfield Hills. You know what the cops told me? Move your van. What? Okay, listen, just one more time. Put up that royalty check there. Look at that.
That's a skinny check.
Look, dude, profitable.
Yeah.
Okay, profit.
Well, you could buy the news now.
Be overpaying.
Yeah.
All right, listen, man, it's good to see you. Look how fast that goes. You're awesome. I love you, dude.